Hey everyone, welcome back to Poplar Preparedness. I'm going to be discussing in this video 10 things that you can do to protect yourself and your family from inflation. I'm going to talk about 10 things that you can purchase now that can protect you from inflation. I'm going to give you some pretty unorthodox ideas right now, and you may, if you get irate about them, pop them in the comments down below. But I think if you think about them, you can kind of see where I'm coming from on these things. But the first one's going to be rather contentious for you guys, okay? I'm going to suggest you buy a new car. Buy a new car. Now, I don't necessarily mean like a new car, but like new to you car. If you have an old beater, if you have an old car that's getting a little rusty and you're wondering if it's going to die any day, I am one of those people. A new car might be just the idea. If you have some cash sitting, or if you have good credit and you can get a good low interest loan, you might want to buy a new car right now. If you can get a 5, 7, 8, 10% interest loan, and yet the inflation is 7, 10, 15%, you'd actually be making money on that loan, which is crazy to think about. Make sure it is fixed rate and not variable rate if you do that. Also, make sure that you have the ability to pay for that. Make sure that you have assets and a stable income if you're going to do that. Otherwise, paying out of pocket for a new car with cash is probably the safest way to go. Dave Ramsey is rolling in his grave. He's not dead yet, but he's rolling in his future grave right now because I just said that taking out a loan to get a new car might be in your best interest. If you can get a low interest rate, if it's fixed, and if you have the capability of making that payment every single month. Factor in the fact that you could lose your job, though, okay? Number 2, buy land. Okay, that's something that's been kicked around a good bit more here. Buy land because it is... no one's making any more of it, and it could be used for things, whether it's building a property, building a house, or farming. That is a good idea. It is being bought up very rapidly by a lot of people. Farmland is being particularly bought up, so keep that in mind. All right. One other reason I forgot to mention about the new car is that because of the chip shortage, they're having a hard time manufacturing cars. So that looks like it's actually getting kind of worse in some regards. So if you've driven by any new car places recently, you notice that their lots are almost empty. That's probably going to continue on for the near future. And it's really impacting used car prices. But things that you buy now are going to go up in value tomorrow, okay? And if you have a chunk of money that you need to spend on, and some of these other things I'm going to suggest, you can sink some money into, but if you have a larger amount of money, buying a new car might be a good idea. Number 3, food. Yes, food. We talk about that quite a bit, particularly canned, things that are going to last a while. Anything that you're going to buy next month or next year, can you buy it now? That's a question for you. If you can buy it now, that might be a good idea to do, because any dollars that you're holding on to till next month or the next year, if you have money sitting in your account, it is losing its value rapidly right now. Buying things now is better than having that cash in the bank account to buy later. Following along on that, consumables, anything else like paper towels, soaps, whatever you use in your house. I just invested in some powdered detergent for my washer and dryer, right? Powdered detergent is easier to store than the liquid stuff, and it's actually quite a bit cheaper too per load of laundry. So that's a thought too. Things that you can do to buy in bulk are not only cheaper, but they're going to be cheaper because they're going to get more expensive later on. And there's a possibility that with these shortages and stuff like that, when you go to buy something later, it may not be available. Someone at the store may tell you that you're over your limit for this month of things that you want to buy, and tell you to go home and tell you that you can't buy something. That's a possibility in the future. Rationing. Next one, home improvements. So things that you can do around the house that you can invest in, even if it's just buying the materials so that you can do that home improvement project in the future. May want to go ahead and plan that out and buy the materials that you'll need for that, or even just invest in extra materials that you may use for projects in the future. Buy some more lumber, buy some tools. Don't go too overboard on that. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, I'm talking to you. Don't buy more tools than you're ever going to need, right? But if you need a certain tool, that might be a good thing to do. If you can invest in some core tools that you will be able to use on a lot of projects, that might be a good investment. In addition to that, just home improvements, if it will make the house worth more money, it might be a good idea to do. Of course, you all know getting involved in a kitchen remodel or a bathroom remodel is always going to be more work than what you thought it would be, though. And it can become a money pit. So make wise choices with that, right? Next, garden. There is a good bit of money that you can pour into a garden. You can build the infrastructure around the garden. You can build raised beds. But the biggest thing is investing in soil. You need to get soil built. That's the important thing. You can't just plow up your yard and start growing stuff. It's more complicated than that. You have to get your soil in your ground up to its productive capability. That means putting a lot of amendments into the soil. And that takes some money, that takes time. That might be something that you want to sink some money into. You may need some tools. And that rolls into the next one, garden equipment. Yes, having garden equipment, maybe even a tractor, who knows? Whatever you need in order to help you make your farm more productive, right? Because that's what it is. If you're going to be living off of it, it is a farm to you, a little farm. Whether it's a half-acre farm, whether it's a quarter-acre farm, or whether you don't even know what an acre is because you don't live in the United States. Wherever you are, getting some more garden equipment. So that may mean getting some more shovels. That may be getting a hoe. I don't know if I have a hoe, which is kind of bad. I have things that I've used as hoes, but I don't think I actually have a proper hoe. Maybe I do. We're going to find out soon enough. But garden equipment, you can sink some money into those type of tools that you're going to be able to use for decades to come, right? A decent wheelbarrow, things that you might be able to use in the future. Next one, 7, solar or other generators. Investing in things that are going to keep you up power-wise. If you choose to prepare yourselves for not having power, this may also take some investment of money. If you choose to basically make your home so that if the power goes out, you can just deal with the power being out, you can invest in certain things like digging a spring house if you can, or an underground cellar. That you can use also as a hidey hole. But the thing is, if you can keep your food cold or cool, even without power, that might actually be a better way to go. Some of you have talked about that you don't want to have power. What you want to do is you just want to become sufficient without the power. But that may take some purchases as well. But a solar array to give your house power if you want to go that route, or even generators, and making, like a propane generator with a large propane tank. Those might be good investments to make. If things become more unstable going forward, any kind of improvements that you put into your house along those lines might make it actually way, way more attractive to buyers. So you may actually receive quite a bit of a bonus for having built up your house like that. Remember, if you're in the United States and you sell your home, you get to deduct $250,000 per spouse off of the gain off your house. So that's free money, free tax-free money if you make a big increase in your house sale. And with inflation, the price is probably going to go up. So number 9, silver and gold. Silver and gold don't do anything. They're non-productive assets, but they are very useful assets in the fact that they retain their value. They don't go down in value. Silver also is extremely undervalued right now. Both silver and, to a lesser extent, gold have been manipulated down price-wise. The price of silver is well below what it should be if you were just to allow it to go with, supply and demand type rules. Silver has been significantly manipulated down, so it's actually a great bargain. And if you buy it now and you wait for the price to go up, you'd actually probably make quite a bit of value off of that at the cost of the people that are manipulating the price down. And they're not good people that you've been stealing from, so it's okay. And finally, 10, productive assets. Assets that are things that are actually going to make you money. So any kind of pieces of equipment or something like that you may be able to rent out to make an income. Nowadays, there are... you can actually rent out your house for Airbnb or a room. You can rent out your car via Torah, I think it's called. There are some places that you can basically become a rental agency where you're renting out your car. You can rent out your truck on a couple platforms. You can rent out a lot of things, pieces of equipment and stuff like that using apps, and you can be protected by insurance on those things right now. So if you buy things with the understanding that you're going to use that as a business to rent out and make money off of over the long haul, those might be a great, not only is that going to give you income, but it's also going to retain its value going forward. Now, don't buy things that are going to rapidly depreciate unless you're going to make sure that you get your money out of it before you do that. But those are 10 items that would be very helpful for you to buy now in order to avoid the cuts of inflation that are coming. Do make some intelligent choices now. Your wealth is going to be more defined during this high inflation period, not by what you do for a living or how much money you make, but rather the decisions you make with the money that you have. Preppers are already making wise choices because, as you see on this list, a lot of the things we're investing in actually are great inflation hedges. So go out there and make great choices, and God bless you all. I will see you again here tomorrow.